This is my very last budget gaming PC that I'm building here in Pittsburgh, so we gotta end with a banger. I've built and taught you all how to build literally hundreds of PCs over the last 6 years of being here, but with our upcoming move to Houston, this is the very last one, so we're of course gonna make it affordable, and honestly, the price to performance of this one is unreal for 2026. I mean, here's Arc Raiders getting almost 100 FPS. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do this for yourself, and then we'll end with a full benchmarking run, and everything you need is down in the description. And real quickly, if you're new around here, my name is Zach, and like I just said, building budget gaming PCs and showing you all how to do it is exactly what I'm all about. We have literally hundreds of videos just like this one, even from before the Pittsburgh days. There's a ton of other useful and totally free PC building tools and resources on my website, and we even sell pre-builts over there if that's your jam. I don't need to sway you any one way of jumping into gaming PCs. I just want to show you all of the options, like this $600 budget gaming PC. That's my last one before I move to Texas. All right, so first up for the CPU, we gotta stick with what's been working the past few years here in Pittsburgh, so it's none other than the Ryzen 5 5500. Now, there are of course some other options like a 3600, maybe even a 2600 if you're going super cheap, but the best sweet spot in my opinion is still a 5500. The price of these has unfortunately been going up a bit just like everything else, so I was only able to grab this brand new off eBay for $84. The reason I got it off eBay was because it was on Amazon, but for a few dollars more. These used to be down near like 70, so definitely grab it for that price if you see it. If not, it's still not a terrible option at 84 either way. Now, you definitely could buy this used if you want to save even more money, but when you do that, they usually will not come with the CPU cooler. That's the main reason I bought new, so I could use this to keep it nice and cool. That'll save anywhere from $10 to $25 since you won't have to buy a different one. If you do go used, just know that people have lately been selling these stock Ryzen coolers on Amazon for like 11 bucks. That's not a bad idea if you're pairing it with something like a used 3600 that doesn't come with one. Next up, let's move to the motherboard, and this is the Gigabyte B550MK. This one isn't all that impressive, and honestly for a build like this, I'm just trying to find whatever the cheapest acceptable option is. This has zero bells and whistles like built-in Wi-Fi. It's not a great board if you want to future-proof up to a better CPU because of the weak VRMs, and the placement of the CPU cooler header makes me want to pull my hair out. But for a $600 gaming PC, especially in 2026, we have to make some sacrifices somewhere, and this is one place where we can kind of get away with it. This motherboard will still give us the full performance out of our more important parts like the CPU, GPU, and even RAM. And speaking of RAM, this is probably the best deal out of the entire build. This is a Corsair Vengeance LPX 2x8GB DDR4 kit that I snagged off eBay for only $65. I know, I thought it was too good to be true as well, but I actually didn't get scammed on this one. This is also clocked at 3200 megahertz, which is exactly what I was aiming for, but the only problem is that if you're trying to copy this build at home, this one will definitely be pretty hard to copy. I'm seeing these types of kits go for anywhere from $90 to $110 realistically. We gotta do what we gotta do during Ramageddon though, so don't let that stop you from doing a project like this. Next up, we get to the SSD, also a terrible corner of the PC hardware market. This is a Patriot P400 Lite 1TB Gen 4 NVMe, and this was also used off eBay, but for $95. I don't particularly like buying used SSDs because they may or may not have a lot of life left in them, but at $95, this saved like 50 bucks because the pricing of these brand new is getting out of hand. If you're trying to copy this build at home, I would just try to get whatever 1TB Gen 4 drive that you can find at a decent price. Gone are the days of min-maxing the absolute most meta drive, at least at this price range, and you just gotta take whatever opportunity you can get. Speaking of opportunity, let's jump into the case real quickly, and I thought long and hard about which one to go with. I've used so many budget cases over the last 6 years in Pittsburgh, and in terms of manufacturers, I think Okanos deserves the spotlight here. They've cranked out so many budget options like the Mirage 4, Aqua Air 3, and so many others, but a case that's not from Okanos that stole the spotlight for budget builds a couple months ago is the Lee & Lee V100 Mini. Ever since this launch, I've officially crowned this as my favorite budget case on the entire market. For $65, you're getting a super clean design, 4 ARGB fans, 1 ARGB strip that angles down here, which looks pretty sick, a built-in GPU support bracket for below and even above the GPU, and it's pretty easy to cable manage inside of. This is the absolute best value case for budget or even mid-range builds in my opinion. I don't see how Lee & Lee is even making a profit on this one, so it fully deserves the spotlight for my last budget build. No disrespect to Okanos, I still use them all the time and highly recommend almost every single one of their cases. This V100 Mini is just impossible to beat right now in terms of value. What's also impossible to beat is this power supply choice, and how could I go with anything other than the Raid Max Cobra 650 watt for my last budget build in Pittsburgh. Now, inside jokes aside, this is actually a really solid option, being Tier C, ATX 3.1, and even PCIe 5.1. The problem is that the batch that I bought these for $35 each on Newegg had a typo on the box, so we've been seeing PICE 5.1 for the past few months in these videos. I have been told by other people buying the PICE 5.1 power supply that the new models, they don't have the typo on it, so you shouldn't have to worry about that.
If it's not like that, then I don't want it.
But this is just an icon at this point on the channel, so how could I end with any other PSU? I do actually have quite a supply left still, so they'll be making their way down to Houston with me. This won't be the last time we're seeing the PICE 5.1 in a ZTT build guide. And finally, the last part is of course the graphics card. And in order to build a competent $600 gaming PC, we of course gotta go used. This is not the RTX 5060 that we had the box for. That's gotta be what the seller eventually upgraded to and used it to protect their old card that they sent to me. Instead, this is an ASUS RTX 3060, and unfortunately, it's only the 8GB model. I know, rip to the seller going from one 8GB model to another. As much as I wanted this to be 12GB, which I do recommend, there's no way that I could have found one and kept this build on budget, so I had to settle for the 8 and I paid $190. Now, that's honestly not a terrible deal since most of these are still a bit over $200. I did the best I could with my remaining budget, and I didn't see any available GPUs at that time that could beat this kind of value. Before we talk about the price to performance value though, let's take a quick look at this final parts list, and as you can see, I actually did a decent job of sticking to the budget. We're only $4 over the target $600 price point, and honestly, that's a pretty good way to wrap up the Pittsburgh build guides. In some of these videos, I've gone almost $100 over budget, so I'll consider that a win on its own. What's also a win are these benchmarking numbers, and I've already teased Arc Raiders in the intro. That 96 average FPS was using 1080p in medium settings. That's honestly very solid given our current hardware market. Here's Battlefield 6 getting 96 FPS, but we did need to drop the settings down to 1080p low for that one. In GTA 5, we could boost up to 1080p very high and got 119. Marvel Rivals is at 98 FPS and 1080p low. The Finals got 116 in 1080p medium, and here's Fortnite getting 146 FPS in 1080p Pro. As far as cooling goes, we're not gonna have a problem with the stock cooler nor this Lee & Lee V100 case. Here's Baldur's Gate 3 using around 70 to 90% on both the CPU and GPU, and both these temperatures are still under 70 degrees, which you love to see. Now, one final thing that I need to address though is the color scheme of our last budget build. This is not exactly what I planned for the last build in Pittsburgh. When I assembled this on my Twitch live stream, we went through all the colors, and I think we basically unanimously decided that pink looked the best. I was fully expecting us to go with yellow for the Steelers colors. This pink just looked really good. I don't know if I've ever decided unintentionally that pink was the best color scheme to go with, so we're trying something a bit unique out here before we head down to Texas, but I love the way this turned out. If you do want to see the full building live stream, but cut down without the other live streaming nonsense, the video for that, along with the full benchmarking run, are over on the ZTT Extras channel. But I do want to thank all of you guys for the support over the last 6 years here in Pittsburgh. ZTT as a company is drastically different than when I first moved into this office. Actually, ZTT wasn't even officially a company when we first moved here. ZTT has grown into a small but strong team over the years, and most of the people that helped build the company are moving down to Houston along with me. I'm gonna document and show you the moving stuff and behind the scenes of us building the new office and warehouse. Make sure you're subscribed, and thank you again all for the support.